dear friends, namaste and welcome in our one more episode of Spiritual Talks. Today we are going to talk about Ramayan and the perspective of Ramayan and benefit in modern era. So we have our demost guest Yash Shekhar, who is international motivational speaker. So friends, I know a lot of you have a lot of questions about Ramayan, about Sri Ram, about his justice and Ma Sita, who has gone through a lot of challenges in their life. Women can especially, correlate their life with her. So, dear friends, without much delay, I would love to invite our guest Yash Shekhar, and we would love to share this wisdom through our channel. Yash, welcome.
Thank you. Hello everyone.
It's always great to have you, and the wisdom you share always people loves a lot.
Thank you. I just try to give my perspective, which should be applicable to the modern age. That's what I'm trying to do today also.
So thank you one more time for accepting our request. And my first question is here, Yash, what is the perspective of Ramayan in modern age?
Sage Valmiki has been the author, preceptor of Ramayan, written in Treta Yuga at the same time when Lord Ram was existing. And Lord Ram is called Maryada Purushottam, which means who is the best in following the code of conduct, the rules and regulations. Someone who does everything right.
Right.
That's why Mahabharata, whereas if I see, is much more later in Dwapar Yuga, whereas Ramayana is in Treta Yuga. So Dharma has different percentage calculation wise during these two times. In Dwapar, so when Dwapar starts, you can say Dharma and Adharma is 50-50. Whereas when Treta Yuga starts, Dharma and Adharma is 75% to 25% respectively. So Ram's age is a much more righteous age. Even the center villain character of that particular era, Ravan, is much more righteous than the villains much more later in Dwapar Yuga or Kali Yuga.
Right.
So we are talking about a very righteous age, and Ram being the most righteous warrior or person in that age is a story of why being righteous is so important. So not only Indians, even when Westerners study Ramayan, they underline this fact that Ramayan teaches you what's the merit and virtue of being righteous. And that goes in every aspect, because everybody is righteous, so it will be righteous not only in the personal behavior, also your professional behavior. Whenever you're doing something right, even when you're studying or you're working, if you're honest to your approach, you develop yourself better. Obviously, the remaining world may not be righteous. You may be righteous, but the other people will not be righteous. But at least for your own self growth, if you're righteous, it makes you a more developed, stronger, and better person.
So could you please explain this word righteous first? What is dharma? What is righteousness?
First of all, dharma changes from time to time. It's not always same. First of all, time era. What is dharma in Satyug? What is dharma in Treta? What is dharma in Dwapar? What is dharma in Kali Yuga is changed.
Right.
Like Ram is considered the supreme god. He is a Vishnu avatar. Same Krishna is the supreme god, Narayana in Dwapar. But if you see the behavior of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, it's quite different.
Very different.
Depending on the age. So that first thing is that when even gods have to change their behavior in different era and time, so that's the first thing to understand. If I put it in modern perspective, which I always try to do, be like a mirror. So when you're in front of mirror, if it's red, red is reflected as red. Blue, blue is reflected as blue. So be like a mirror primarily. When you see someone is red, you be red. With green, be green. With blue, be blue. With transparent, be transparent. So that's the first normal, natural way of behavior. So in the era of righteousness, you should be righteous. When people are not that righteous, then you are not morally obliged to be too much righteous, which can cause you in problem. It's very much like if someone is attacking you, you can't just be neutral and say, okay, please attack me.
Right.
Either you run away or you fight. So similarly, the perspective and benefits, everything changes from the age to age. So far as Ramayana is concerned, it shows you a very idealistic time period when everyone is showing a very high class of behavior. Hence, the best is also doing the same. So that's how everybody is following their rules very properly. The rules is being followed very properly. That's what Ramayana teaches us to be.
So without changing our own main principles, we should act or we should change our behavior accordingly.
Correct. So it's more like integrity. Integrity is like doing the right thing when no one is watching you. So something we should do when we normally we do right things because there's a rules and regulations, or there's social pressure, or there's something right we are doing as per some some guidelines.
Yep.
But there are some guidelines which are principles of your own.
Right.
So that is what integrity and righteousness is about. And when everybody starts doing that, that becomes like a mass movement. That becomes like a culture. And it has nothing to do with how society thinks only. It's something very personal. It should be happening because you feel it's right. It's like if everybody else starts eating non-vegetarian food and you don't feel like eating non-vegetarian food, you should not eat. Just don't follow the society just because everybody is doing wrong doesn't mean you should also start doing wrong. If you don't enjoy having alcohol, you should not have alcohol. Just because everybody else is having doesn't make you should also
The
have it.
one should have enough confidence to follow
Yeah.
that.
And when you do this in a regular way, even slowly, baby steps, your self respect in your own eyes gets very high, and
Right.
that leads to confidence. Look, I very firmly believe that the most beautiful and most handsome aspect, even on a face, on a personality, is your confidence. Doesn't matter what's your skin color, doesn't matter what's your body shape, size, height, weight, your confidence reflects the most. If you are not confident, you will look very different compared to how you are confident. And that source of confidence, one of the best is honesty. I'm not saying being honest to everyone, no. I'm saying being honest to yourself. If you decide that you will wake up in the morning and go to studies, you should do that. Even if for 10 minutes. Your mind, which is witnessing everything. Look, the prime nature of soul is being a witness, trishta. So we see that levels, now that soul is divided into various parts. So ego is one part. Then then comes wisdom, intellect, conscious mind, subconscious mind. So there's a witness inside you. So that witness, forget about what others are saying and doing. You yourself are witnessing yourself. So if you say something, suppose you say, okay, I'll meet this person tomorrow. Don't say it. But if you say, give respect to your words.
Right.
Doesn't matter you meet him or her for only 5 minutes. So same thing is how you develop your habit, and when you start doing it regularly, you see nature will start supporting you also. You will see if you have given your words to someone that you will meet that person, and suppose it's impossible, you will see the person will call himself or herself and say that okay, sorry, I cannot meet. Your
Yeah.
words have not gone wrong.
Yes.
So this will happen when you start showing respect to yourself, and then nature starts showing respect to you. So Ramayana is all about these things. It's primarily about character building, not about some kind of band-aid kind of treatment or some kind of alternative arrangement. No. Ramayan is the central line. On the contemporary, if you see Mahabharata, it's about what has to be done when things are not going right. Like if you see in the Mahabharata battlefield, a lot of things are happening which are not right. Whereas in Ramayana, everybody is doing right. Nobody is trying to do wrong to win the war. But in Mahabharata, that's primarily because of the age difference. And Kali Yuga, to forget it. So my point is that Ramayana, it tells you what's the central line. Like I will give a very simple example. Suppose there's a train. You see a train is at the platform waiting. It's stationary. So now if I ask someone that is the train late or early, you can't tell me the right answer unless you have seen the regulated timetable of the train. Suppose it was supposed to be 6 p.m. at the platform, it's now coming at 7 p.m. so it's 1 hour late. If it is there at 5:30 p.m. itself, it's half an hour early. So this time guideline comes from the roadmap, the timetable. So this thing what I'm talking about, Ramayana gives you the prime general line. That's why Ramayana is very useful, because a lot of people who are very simple, who are staying in villages and all, they need to know what's the right line.
Right.
Not the adjustment, manipulation, strategies and all. What is the central simple line? That's why Ramayana is also very applicable to children. Children should specially be given some education and training about Ramayana, because it's very easy to understand Ramayana, because everybody is doing their best. Nobody is trying to, for anything, nobody is trying to cross the line unnecessarily. Everybody is trying to follow the line. And if anybody crosses the line, they get the treatment also because of that, a cause and effect, I would say. So Ramayana has a very good, a very simple, soothing flow, and also it's more applicable because general people can take a huge guidance from Ramayana, because he is doing everything right. If you see any character of time of Krishna, like Mahabharata, everybody is doing something not right. Whereas in case of Ramayana, most of the characters are doing everything right. So it's more simpler to follow, like the way Gandhiji said that if you basically are speaking truth, it's very simple. If someone is lying, they have to remember what they have said to different people.
Yes.
So that's what simplicity Ramayana has. So though I am a very big fan of Mahabharata, but Ramayana at least has a very simple approach. It's very easy to understand and easy to understand. So if you are studying Mahabharata also, I would say that okay, find some time and slowly start reading Ramayana, and it's easy and more applicable in a lot of simpler phases of life. When you are starting a life like a student or when you are starting a job life, that time Ramayana is very useful because it tells you what to be done.
So I'll tell you, in our childhood, like not childhood exactly, after sixth standard, uh, we used to have every year one subject as a curriculum. Ramcharitmanas in sixth standard, and then Mahabharat.
In one of my interview, I've discussed this. I met some individuals in Western countries who have made Ramayana study and watching, um, like very high attention and focus on studying Ramayana.
Yeah.
And they are not Indians, but they have a very high regards for Ramayana. So Ramayana is very good, especially for children and at a young age, because it develops there, because in young age the brain cells, the way they are, the number is very high, the critical mind is very low. So just telling about mind has three layers, especially conscious, critical, then subconscious. When you are grown up, your critical mind is very thick, which means you judge too much. Anybody good or bad, anything good and bad, you will judge. But when you are a child, the critical mind layer is very thin, so basically you don't judge, you accept things much more faster. So reading something like Ramayana at that age is a very positive effect, because when you read something, you primarily imagine. Nowadays, we are viewing more than reading. Long ago, there used to be more of reading than viewing. So reading basically helps you to imagine a lot. If I am reading a book, any kind of book, I am imagining. So it develops the faculty of imagination, which is very good as a healing therapy. Storytelling is, that's why, a very good healing therapy. Not only from the reverence angle and the spiritual religious angle, apart from that, from a storytelling angle also, Ramayana is an excellent story to be told. It has a very good effect on, I would say, everyone.
What is your personal take on from Ramayan?
No, I like I like Hanuman a lot. But I like nearly all the characters of Ramayana, because I feel that everybody is trying to do their best. See from, okay, let's see we should not always see the hero side, let's see the villain side. It's very easy to praise a hero. Like Meghnad, Ravan's son Indrajit, he's doing everything right for from his perspective, his loyalty is to his motherland, to Sri Lanka, so he's doing everything for Sri Lanka. He's hardly enjoying life. Ravan is enjoying much more than Meghnad is enjoying.
Very true. Very
If I
true.
see from that perspective, that's why if you see, Ravan fought twice, the initial day and the last, and both times he was defeated by Ram. Whereas Meghnad was actually giving very tough fight to both Ram and Lakshman. He was definitely surpassing Lakshman most times. In the last case, Ram asked Lakshman to basically attack the particular yagya he is doing of a particular deity goddess Meghnad worships. But apart from that, Meghnad is definitely not losing to even Lakshman.
Very true.
And Lakshman is not a normal mortal. He is like Sheshnag's avatar and he's superhuman and all powers. So because Meghnad's standards were very high, from his perspective, is following the Dharma.
And I would appreciate Vibhishan being at Ravan's side. He knew that what is right actually.
Look, there are two characters in Ramayana and Mahabharata respectively, which have to be given very high reverence. One is Vibhishan in Ramayana and one is Vidur
Yes.
in Mahabharata.
Very
If you
true.
see these two characters, both are not that strong in their strength. In their strength and superhuman abilities, they are not that strong. Like Vidur is much more weaker than strength
Yes,
and
yes.
power compared to Dhritarashtra or Duryodhan or any of the Kauravas like Karna or Ashwathama.
But still they
But still
stand
he is
by.
standing against them and taking a stand. So when you are strong and you take a stand against someone, that's
That is easy.
easier. But when you are weak and you take a stand against someone, because the stronger can kill you or damage you, that's greatness. That's why they say Mahatma Vidur.
Yes.
The word Mahatma means itself taking stand when odds are against you, because chance of you surviving are very less. When you're on the weaker side and you fight, that's how greatness is born. The word Maha comes when you are doing something which is logically not possible. Look, when someone is strong fighting another strong person, that's logically possible. But when you're weaker and winning the war, that creates
That's,
greatness.
yeah.
That's why greatness
It's
is born.
it's easy to flow in the
Yeah,
regular
yeah. So
water, but
yeah, yeah. Flowing against the water, very good
water,
example. Yeah,
yeah.
is again very tough. Same is Vibhishan. Vibhishan is opposing Ravan, and no, Ravan is not a normal person. Ravan is extremely strong. If you study about him, if you study the real classical Ramayana and all, he has nearly every kind of weapons.
And I think he was even more stronger than Ram.
Look, I would not accept that, because in the direct battle, both times when in the starting he fights Ram and in the end, and both times Ravan gets defeated. Whereas if you see Meghnad, he is able to get Nagpash for both Ram and Lakshman. Then Garuda helps and all. Then again in the case of Shakti, then Lakshman falls down and Sanjeevani is brought by Hanuman. So I have somehow, if I see technical facts wise, Ravan was at the biggest point when he kidnaps Sita, he is not directly attacking Ram in combat. If Ram was weaker than Ravan,
But still, Ravan was technically or physically in strength, he was
yes, yes,
quite.
yes. Ravan, look, if you see you have to also see the legacy. Who is like a lot of people focus on Ram and Ravan, but let's see the legacy. Who is Ravan? Ravan is Vishwa Rishi, sage Vishwa's son. Okay, who is Vishwa? Vishwa is son of sage Pulastya. Who is Pulastya? Pulastya is brother of Agastya.
Oh,
So if you see legacy wise, Ravan is Agastya's bloodline, and Agastya is like super in sages. He's a super sage. He's so powerful that when Lord Shiva and Parvati are getting married, he's asked by Shiva to go to the opposite pole or opposite point of the this marriage ceremony to balance the earth. He's that powerful. And then Agastya helps Ram to defeat Ravan. You see the standards of codes and ethics. Now
yes,
nowadays we see that families are supporting each other to anything, even to do wrong, to get power. Families can go to any level to get their own kin or next generation to power.
correct.
No righteousness, no sense. In that age, see the standards that Agastya is helping Ram, who is not his direct bloodline, to work and support and kill his own bloodline,
Very true. Yeah.
just because the sense of righteousness is.
Yes.
Same with, you see with example of same example you would see with this guy also, Vibhishan also. Vibhishan is completely going against Ravan. Vibhishan is helping tactically a lot because he feels dharma, righteousness is on the side of Ram. Now another perspective is that okay, Vibhishan is like a someone who's like a rebel. Let's see from that angle. He is like what we say. There's a very famous muhavra that "Ghar ka bhedi Lanka dhai." It's a Hindi muhavra which
Yes.
means a person who knows the hidden facts of the house can bring down the system. So here Vibhishan is talked in a slightly derogatory manner, that he is like a Vishwas Ghati. But see from the
And
angle of,
righteous.
yeah, right, Vibhishan says righteous is Ram. So who is righteous is right, finished. Doesn't matter if local, global, he is not looking from that angle. Whoever is right is right. Vibhishan has a very strong perspective on righteousness, like Vidur. So that's why these people, everyone is good from that angle.
Yes, yes, very great examples and the way you explained. Well, let's move ahead. Sri Ram, right, who fought for Ma Sita.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I heard somewhere that Ma Sita was more enlightened. I mean, I don't know what is more or less enlightenment,
yeah.
but she was, when she came to Ram, she was more powerful than him.
Janak was okay. Raja Janak was definitely considered more reverence was towards Raja Janak than Dashrath. If
Dashrath.
you compare Raja Janak and Dashrath, nearly all the sages of that time used to meet Janak. Janak was a very good friend of Parshuramji also. So what I'm saying is that Janak definitely had a higher respect value. So if you are marrying his daughter, that itself is a privilege, because
Yeah.
earlier times the whole concept was like women have like very high rights. That means first of all Swamvar is there. So a girl is supposed to go see in the eyes of the potential bridegroom, and in very less time she has to take a
Right
choice.
decision. Yeah.
So it's not easy, and I think they were either trained or gifted or both, so they could do that. So I would say that okay, both of them are like gods. So Ram and Sita was a perfect match. They're yeah,
Definitely, definitely. They were perfect match, but still there will be always story for
yeah,
on this planet Earth.
mm,
So we learned a lot of things from them.
example.
So Sri Ram, who fought for her,
Mm.
why there was a time he has to left her, and what is your perspective? What do you think on this topic? Because a lot of people they say Ram did wrong.
First of all, I am a human being. I am so far still a mortal. So, for a mortal to judge someone superhuman, who as per Valmiki Ramayana is Maryada Purushottam, the in humans he is the best. So, for a mortal like me to judge someone like that would be wrong. First of all, second, if I see from Ramcharitmanas, he is a
Bhagwan, he's a
Bhagwan, God.
god.
Both ways, I will not be able to judge that whether he did what was right and wrong, because they do things from a different perspective.
Right, yeah.
They don't do it from the perspective of the way we see. Look, the less competent should not judge the more competent.
And when you have great responsibilities, it's not only just handling
Yeah.
or having a own family. He was
Yes.
the king of
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that
First of all,
time.
yeah,
So
he was the king of Ayodhya. And another thing, don't forget that he was playing multiple roles. Whenever you are playing multiple roles, one of your roles will suffer. Look, first of all, Ram loved Sita because he never remarried anyone.
yeah,
It's not like, okay, after leaving Sita, he's remarrying anyone else. That means, from a perspective of husband wife, there was enough love for the relationship to continue. So, in Ram's life, there's only one lady who is Sita. Not like, okay, after one, there's another or something like that. Only one lady. That means his love for Sita is eternal. No question on that. Second, still he is choosing for the, as the story goes, that she stays in sage Valmiki's place and gives birth to Love and Kush. That itself shows that the Raja Ram perspective was more important relatively than the husband Ram's perspective. That I am seeing from my perspective. That's my perspective. So it was a role. So if you have to choose, sometimes choices are difficult. Suppose there's a flood and a person has two children and he or she can only take one child at a time. So in their two children, they have to choose any one of them.
that we cannot judge.
So we cannot judge that because the perspective, the situation is like that. So many times, no human being is wrong. The situation makes us do something called dharma sankat. In Shastras, this kind of situation is called dharma sankat. When both choices appear to be very difficult, but still you have to choose. And in Mahabharata also this happens. For Arjun, fighting with Bhishma is dharma sankat because he is one of his teachers and mentors. For Arjun, fighting with Drona is dharma sankat. For Arjun, fighting with Kripacharya is dharma sankat. Actually, for Arjun, fighting with Ashwatthama is also dharma sankat because he is again Guru Bhai.
Yes.
So if you see, for anybody, that's why Arjun, when he introduces himself, when the trainings get completed and he's asked to give his introduction, he's saying, I am Drona Shishya Arjun. He could say, I am Kuntriputra Arjun, I am this and that. He is keeping simple role. That's why the perspective is very important, that any wise person will get a difficult and more potent challenge than an unwise person. Everyone doesn't get the same challenge. Even if you see any perspective of a video game also, level 4, level 5, level 6. So the problem in level 4 will be easier than level 6. God will not give you the problem which you cannot solve. God will always give you the problem of your level. God is not giving me the problem of Prime Minister's level. Prime Minister has such huge tasks, such big tasks they have. So obviously they are at a much bigger stature, so have much difficult roles to play. So as you grow higher, your challenges will become bigger because those challenges done right or wrong affect much more impactfully the society, the individuals, the nation, the world. So when Ram takes a decision, he has to not only think from the perspective of a husband Ram, he has to think from the perspective of Raja Ram. Look, and if you see Ram Rajya, the word comes, Ram is not only worshipped as a husband who brings back his wife, he also defeats evil. He is thinking about everyone. Before the war also he is giving warning. He is sending Angad. Once the war is decided, why will he send Angad? He's still trying the war not to happen, not to protect his own army. He's trying to also protect the people of Lanka and the army of Lanka. He's that
Definitely,
kind.
definitely.
It's very adarshwadi. We cannot even comprehend the level of standard these people had. Some stories say that Ravan also, when Ram comes, helps to perform a yagya, and because there's no, no such Brahman of that stature in that time, and for like a purohit, I would say, someone has to do the puja. So he helps in that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that everybody is following different standards, and standards change with the age. But what Raja Ram did and what husband Ram did are again two different roles. So obviously, a lot of especially women folk feel that what Sri Ram did was is a bit of injustice towards Mata Sita. But you don't have to see him only as the male, masculine, Maryada, Purush Uttam Ram. He's also Raja Ram. So he's playing many roles, and I don't know many more roles which are not visible also. Look, there's something called undercurrent. If a river is flowing, there's a lot of undercurrent also. When great human beings and great lords and gods, when they do something, they see things from a
Different.
multi angle. There's not like a single or double dimension. Even when we start growing things, we see from a different angle. If you are driving a car, you will take care of 5 things. If you are driving a cycle, you will take care of 3 or 4 things. If you are driving an aircraft, you will take care of 10 things. So you can't say that, oh, I want to drive an aircraft but think like a cycle.
See, whatever you do, people will definitely, talk behind. So if he would have done in this way, he would
Yeah.
have make him understand the person who was talking ill about Ma Sita. He would have make him understand that this thing is things are not like this.
Yeah.
But I think that would have not been right angle
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah. Also,
So
one more word is there. There's a word called Leela. If you have to read Ramayana or Mahabharata, you have to use, that's why we say Krishna Leela, Ram Leela. The word Leela and the word Karam are different. So Leela actually means play, Play, play. So when gods do something, and I'm including both Sri Ram and Mata Sita in this, when gods do something, it's a play. They're trying to give a message to society.
it's a huge message. See, by this action, what happened at the end, Ma Sita chose,
Yeah, finally
she,
she goes inside Mother Earth.
yeah.
But that's the way they choose to exit. Lakshman also chooses something similar. He enters the water and then reaches a
It can
station.
be a right message to lot of men how to take care of their wife. I mean,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
being a just Raja or king,
yeah.
but how to
Yeah,
respect her.
also any story or perspective is very important, and also you can see that what decisions can create what effect. Look, many times sad stories create very beautiful society because that
Yeah.
teaches you what should not be done.
Yes.
Look, one is like what should be done, one is also like what should not be done. So that way, Ramayana has a very big perspective, and that's why I say, for especially for children, from a very young age, if they listen to Ramayana, if they read Ramayana, and especially parents who said, a lot of times, I meet a lot of parents who say that our children are not listening to us, especially nowadays, because children don't listen to you. They
They
primarily
follow you.
imitate you or follow you.
Follow you.
For children, you are much bigger in size, you provide everything, so whatever you do is right. I told you that they don't have enough of critical developed mind. So whatever a parent is doing is like the right thing for the child. So if you yourself read Ramayana or you read Mahabharata or anything you do, for a child that's the classic. That's what should be done. So if you want your child to meditate, if you want your child to read good books, and I'm not talking about only Sri Ramayana and Sri Mahabharata. If you want your child to develop any quality, you should do that. That will make it much more easier. It may still happen. If a child is a prodigy, he or she may still develop certain skills without your help. But otherwise, the child will grow much better if you are also doing what you want or aspire to child to develop. First of all, every person is individual. Let them grow in their own natural way. But if you have the desire to see a child enjoy developing a skill which you want to develop, you first start doing it and you see how a child does it.
Very true. Very, very beautiful message.
Yeah. So
And
that's
their parents are normally lacking. I mean, they just want their kids to be like that, but they don't want to give a right education by. Uh, they have their own, hard life, so they don't have time to meditate. They don't have
Yeah.
they don't have right time,
Look, first thing is time management.
time
If
management.
you see example of Ramayana or Mahabharata or any of the good books, time management is the key. Even the modern age, I have seen literally every person who has achieved something in life to any degree, they are very good in time management. Very good in time management. So time management is the first thing. If you want to develop something, and because everybody is very busy, we are playing many more roles, and there's a lot of I would say lack of time. So you have to have compartments, and you divide compartments daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, and then that way you can do justice to everything in life. So same for parents also, if they want to have and gossip less, waste less time, develop things which give you, because anything when you start is like a poison, but once you master it is like a nectar. So don't go for shortcuts, go for something which is long term beneficial, and you see how much inner happiness you get when you develop a skill, how much inner happiness it gives to you. When a child starts learning to walk, how much happiness that simple walk gives to a child. So as you
Yes.
develop, you will certainly feel happy. That's a core level of happiness which comes and which stays with you.
Yes.
Not like a happiness which comes and goes, something which stays. So
Yes,
so for that
definitely, definitely.
it's a good
Yeah, parents
example.
can, spend good time after coming from office rather than being in
Yeah, yeah,
mobile or on
yeah.
TV.
And keep some time in the family where nobody is using mobile.
Yes.
Otherwise, I have seen some good habits in certain families that during the dinner table or the lunch table, every family member is asked to put the mobile on a switch
Yeah.
off mode or aeroplane mode, and they enjoy the dinner or lunch. So that's a good way to bond also.
Yes.
Even for, I would say, if you have a good, also for eyesight, if you're watching mobile phone too much, because nowadays we are getting very late, sleeping time is getting late, spending too much time on mobile, all this is not good. Preferably you sleep early and wake up early, wake up by 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. Nowadays people are going to sleep at 3 a.m. Earlier times they used to wake up by 3 a.m. 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that no, it's very technical. Brahmurat people used to be awake, like the way animals do, like the way birds do, especially diurnal and nocturnal. If you see the diurnal animals, the way they will, human body and type and mind is primarily diurnal in nature. So you should sleep early, wake up early. That's good from health perspective also.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, coming to the last question, what is the benefit of Ramayan in modern era? Like how one should learn, especially students group or any age group?
Look, if I talk from students, because that's a very growing time. In students' time, we call it multiplier time, which means a student who studies well or develops a skill well will be finally achieving and experiencing much more in life than someone who has not done the same. First of all, the difference is only in experiential level. If you are more successful than someone, then your experiential value is more. You experience much more in life. So from that angle, first is that you see the character of Ram and Lakshman and anybody, they are learning very well. They are doing what they are doing. When they are in their Gurukul, they are doing the roles of a Gurukul. When they are in a war, they are being like a warrior. When they are being in a household system, they are being like a householder. Whatever role they are playing with full responsibility and sincerity. So for students, that's the first perspective. None of the characters in Ramayana, none of them is not sincere in their training and education. No one, no hero, no villain. Everybody there is sincere to their utmost capacity. That's the prime and first message of Ramayana. That you have to be sincere in developing your capacity. Your perspective and direction in life can be different. Your opinion can be different. But your training time, you should train properly.
So how students should not get diverted when they are studying or when they are practicing nowadays, as we spoke about mobile. It takes a lot of time, and when students from childhood, when they are not connected with their parents, they get diverted or they go towards wrong thing. So how they should
Look,
be consistent in their practice, how they should,
mhm.
how they should be focused.
Look, apart from anything else, one thing very important is the role of grandparents. In earlier time, the parents had a huge support of grandparents. The respect for grandparents used to be very high in the family, more than the parents. Because the love for grandparents is naturally much more in an individual than for even children.
Yes.
So grandparents is to support a lot. Both I'm saying about grandmothers and grandfathers is to support the family a lot to raise the children. And children is to have very loving bonds. Parents is to still be strict with them, but grandparents is to be mostly like spoilers.
Yes.
They is to help them, pamper them also. So because of grandparents, there's a cushion in a system. If parents wants to go somewhere and there's a position where the parents is not available, grandparents to take that role. So nowadays in society, the grandparents' role have been anybody who is not profitable. Now we think they are useless.
Yes. Now,
This perspective is commercial perspective. That's why I said in one of my interviews, commerce is the new religion. Anything which is commercially not useful, we consider it to be bad or not good. Like if a cow is not giving milk, you think of okay, we should sell it
yeah.
off. So that perspective itself is wrong. Because everybody at some stage of their life will be non-productive. Nobody can be always productive. That's law of conservation. So you should also help someone when someone is not going through good
Right.
times.
Yeah.
So your grandparents first of all help you to balance that. Because they used to tell you stories, they used to tell you their own experiences. Because from media you will only get what someone has written the script about. But real life experiences are much more powerful. You cannot read a book on swimming and enter the water. The real life experience is much more powerful than any other experience.
I still remember, like every night I used to ask my grandma to, tell a story, and if she repeat the same story, also I used to love that story.
Yeah,
So,
because of the feelings they have.
yes.
So first is the support and role of grandparents. That's primary and very essential first. Second, as I said, prioritization. You must put priority. I'm not saying don't use cell phone, don't enjoy on cell phone, no, that's fine. But the priority of that should be secondary. Primary should be your studies or exercise or anything to do with your health. Then secondary is watching, viewership. This is also important, but not as important as directly learning an art. It's a step by step process. You just do it step by step.
A lot of things to learn from Ramayan, definitely. So, here I would request you to give an ultimate message from Ramayan.
The ultimate message from Ramayan is that good will win over the evil. How much schemes you play, whatever you try in life, the last 1 hour of your life is in God's control. The first 1 hour of process of birth and the last 1 hour of process of death. This is in God's control. It can become your last 1 hour of life can be very relaxed death or can be very painful death. So finally, ultimately at individual level or at the overall global level, good will win over the evil. And when the right time comes, right things start happening. Not even the mightiest force can stop the idea whose time has come. So you don't do wrong things just because everybody else is doing. You do what is mutually right. If you are doing alone, individually right. If you are doing in a group, mutually right. Mutualism, coexistence, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, they are prime principles on which India and the world has been functioning, and it will remain like that. For a short time, you can create turbulence, disturbance, but whenever nature will get its time, it will balance everything. Human beings or any other race cannot take the position of nature. For nature to balance things is so easy. And trust me, when you handle it yourself, when you are being righteous, things are easy. When nature does justice, it works at a very different level. It can
Like
get so merciless.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID was a very good example. And COVID was very light. If nature wants to really create havoc, it can create such a situation for a very long time period. You even for COVID effect was for 2 to 3 years, and it was creating so much disturbance. Imagine if nature does something like that for much more longer duration of time. So we cannot fight nature. We should learn to stay with nature. So anything which is empowering nature actually will empower you. If you are doing any shortcut, there is something inside you which is watching, and there is something outside also which is watching, which will do the right thing at right time. So that's my ultimate message. If I think I can give a message, that try to be a good human being, to take care of nature, take care of people around you, take care of environment around you, take care of animals, plants, whatever is nature for you, which includes every experience you are having. Look, everything is between you and the experiences. This is what is between you and the God. So between you and God is the experiences, sum total, which is nature for you. So take good care of that, and it will take good care of you.
Definitely. Beautiful message. When things are in between me and God,
Yeah,
there's no need to do any wrong thing.
wrong thing. Because if you are doing wrong things, you're mentally you will feel the difference.
Yeah.
Peace is a great happiness. if you are doing wrong things, you will be feeling that disturbance, and sooner or later it will affect your health. So better to be peaceful, enjoy, and it will create youth and long life. Sukh Shanti. That's why they used to earlier bless like Dirghayu Bhava, which means like have a long life. Nowadays nobody thinks about long life. Everybody wants a enjoying short life. No, how you live is one thing. How you have lived your life will be known the way you die.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I see a lot of people, I get surprised, a lot of very simple people having very relaxed death. And I see a lot of people who are great people in society having a very painful ending. So that's why you should plan your life not only for life, also for death.
So birth and death is not in your control,
Yeah.
but
There's a very good lyrics on this. जब तक जवानी तब तक ज़माना, चाहे जिसे जी भर के सता लो, याद रखियो तब कोई न चाहे, जब ये जवानी खत्म हो जाए. So God, you think that you are able to outsmart nature or God. So God waits for your youth to end. And when your youth is not there, then God will balance every karma in detail. Don't worry.
yes.
God doesn't, people say that, oh, something wrong is happening, someone is doing very wrong things, and why is God not punishing him or her? Oh, definitely God will punish. God will first wait for the energy of youth to finish.
Those appointments will be very fixed and at
Very
very
fixed.
right time.
And God will be keeping it very sorted and very proper at individual level, or bigger masculine levels or feminine levels, or
Yeah.
any broad levels. God will balance, and when God balances, there is no scope of escaping. So you just try to do your best. Just because others are not doing their best, don't take the perspective that, oh, God is not watching and God is not doing. God definitely will act, and at the end, the cleaning always happens at the end. God allows the play of Maya is itself. God allows you to do wrong things, wait for the right time, and then does the right thing. So you don't become a part of the wrong just because you don't see something wrong happening to a wrong person. It will happen to them in the due course of time. And you see so many families which are very rich earlier become very poor.
Yeah.
If you study history, that's why you must study history. That teaches you how to live in the present towards the future. You will see very rich families after 200 years, nothing, nobody known. Even world's richest family, what happens to them after a certain number of years if they don't follow the right principles?
Thank you, Yash. Thank you for coming and bringing this perspective of Ramayan in today's era. It's very high time to understand from Ramayan. So thank you one more time. Thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom, and I wish all the very best to you, and please keep coming and share your wisdom here. Thank
I'm
you.
very happy to come also, and whenever you guys will call me to do program, I would try to find time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, friends, for watching this episode. And please like, share, subscribe PMC English. And please share this video with everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.